Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be racing a little bit of Assetto Corsa Competizione. One problem though, where's my wheel? It's usually right here. Ah, here it is. We're doing something a little bit different this time. You may remember on a stream that we did a while ago that I had mentioned that my dad uses a different kind of wheel than most. So this is the one. This is the Simraceway SRW-S1 wheel. It's actually made by SteelSeries, funnily enough, who are very, very good at doing keyboards, headsets, mice, etc. But this is an older controller. It's not brand new by any stretch of the imagination, and it's what I like to call an indirect drive wheel because there's nowhere to connect it to a wheelbase. It is literally just this. We just have a nice Formula style rim, we have plenty of buttons, we have some rotary dials. It all looks very nice, like you would expect a modern direct drive wheel rim to look like, but on the back you have gearbox paddles and a couple of analog paddles as well. But as you can see, as we mentioned, there's no way of connecting this up to anything. So how do you use this? Well, this is literally it. We have no need for a wheelbase. We just have this, and you simply turn by moving it left and right like this. So we're going to try it out. This is an older wheel. It was designed originally for the Simraceway simulation, which is no longer a thing, but it still works with any kind of game. So we thought, well, let's check it with one of the new ones, the Assetto Corsa Competizione, and see if this is still a viable option, if this is still something that will work with the latest and greatest sim racing titles out there. So let's jump into the game and see if we can set this thing up. So we go into our options here. I've got all my Fanatec settings up on here, so let's have a look. Steering. So let's hold this nice and level, and will it work? Oh, look at that. There you go. We have steering. Throttle is going to be this paddle here. Brake, we're going to have this one. Clutch, I don't have a clutch on there, so I'm going to use my clutch pedal if I really need it. Shift up and shift down. Okay, so we're now locked in at the incredible amount of steering lock, which is 360 degrees, which is the maximum this thing can deal with, so that's fine. So we've got all those set up, so let's see if it actually works. Let's go for a bit of a hot lap. We'll go around Brands Hatch. I don't think I dare try the Audi, and let's try something that's perhaps a little bit more forgiving. Let's go with the Mercedes, shall we? Right. Let's load into the session, see if it works. So you can actually adjust the rotation on the fly. So this dial here, you can set it to either 180 degrees, which I'm not quite sure why you'd ever want that little amount of rotation, or obviously on the full 360, which is what we have here. Originally for Simraceway, there's lots of other things you could do on here, so you can actually set various different assists using this button here, but you can obviously map that to something else if you wanted to. And then you've got the assist values here, which is low, medium and high, but again it's just a rotary encoder, so you should be able to do whatever you want. So now we're here on track.
Green light, go, go, go.
Busy reaching out for my pedals, and I don't really need them. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of a shake on the wheel there, but that's just because we're using motion sensing technology here rather than an actual motor. So there's a degree of kind of inaccuracy, I suppose you could call it, but if you rotate the wheel around, it's not too bad. It might be livable. Let's test out the paddles. So it's not too bad actually. There's a fair amount of control over the paddles there. So engage first gear and let's go for some laps of Brands Hatch. Now my dad uses this on various sims, and to be fair, he does reasonably well with it. So first impressions, the force feedback is amazing. Paddock bend, can we get through it? There we go. We made it. Up to Druids. I can feel the understeer. No, I can't. Now, this does remove bollards as well as a lot of the sensory input that you get through the force feedback, so you're simply relying on position of the wheel in game and the sounds to let you know what's going on, so it certainly makes things a lot trickier. It also means that you have to have quite strong arms to hold it out in front of you, because you can't just rest on it. Who needs force feedback? Save any slide you want. It just still doesn't mean you can keep it on the track though. Right, okay. Let's try and stay on the tarmac. Just going to take it easier so we don't have any more moments. Good. Well, to be honest, it's not actually that bad in terms of trying to be smooth at the wheel. I had the initial thought that, you know, trying this on here, you'd be constantly going left to right, backwards and forwards over the track, just all over the place. But really, you can drive quite smoothly, reasonably quickly. Let's give it a bit more lock. Just trying to get used to the sensitive 360 degrees of rotation. Normally with GT cars you'll be running around 500 degrees of rotation, but I have to apply a little bit extra brake there and it kind of got away from me. Yes, definitely catching slides with this wheel is a challenge, should we say. Certainly wouldn't want to be doing any endurance races, that's for sure. Slow. Let's do a J-turn, here we go. Well, okay, this would certainly take some getting used to. Because I think when you're so used to having force feedback, which is pretty strong, you very much rely on it to let you know when things are getting closer to the limit, and you kind of lean on it when the back end starts coming around. You just kind of use the force feedback to balance the car, whereas with this obviously you have zero feedback whatsoever of what the car's doing. So you kind of have to make educated guesses as to what the car is actually going to do next, and then react accordingly-ish.
Well done, mate. That's not the fastest lap.
Let's see if we can do a complete lap without having an off or going off track. Druids. The good thing is though, at least all the controls are right at your fingertips, so you have the brake and the accelerator pedal, which are quite easy to use actually. It doesn't take away from your control over the rest of the wheel. Stay on. Using a bit too much throttle through there. Trying to keep it in a straight line isn't as difficult as I was expecting either. Okay, we survived so far this lap. Machine curve, tricky corner on the circuit. Ah yes, there we go, now we're getting there. I'm actually pretty impressed. It is actually very usable, even with its limitations, obviously we've talked about, but it's very usable on track. You can get used to it. So that's a 127.9 that last lap. What we will do as well is we'll put my actual wheel back on again with real force feedback rather than self-induced force feedback, and we'll see what times we can do with a direct, oh not direct drive, a force feedback wheel, just for comparison. See how far off I am with this Simraceway wheel. It's worth pointing out that these wheels are no longer available. Dad's had this one for quite a while, so it's done very well. As you can probably tell from the initial shots that we showed of the wheel, it has had a bit of wear and tear, but still works. My left arm bicep is currently aching slightly. Which is probably testament to my stick arms, which I have. Getting more used to it now, we're dialed in. 27-0. Oh, no. That was me being too busy looking at the times and not focusing on my breakpoints. That's the one thing you can't do so much with this wheel, is take a moment to relax. You're constantly on it, trying to keep on top of it, basically, make sure you're not going to wander off track. Oh, do a slide, caught it. 30. Too bad. We are a little bit slower on this lap, but that's okay. Our big moment at Paddock Hill. I'm actually quite impressed with it. It's not too bad to drive. Yes, saved it again. Every time you save a slide, it really does feel like a win with this thing. The other great thing about this wheel is that you don't necessarily need to have a rig. You can take it anywhere with you, so if you're a frequent traveller, you can take this with you, hook it up to a laptop in the hotel room, sit on the bed, just drive, so you're not going to lose out your sim racing fix. Go once more, feed the power in, grab gravel. Oh, tank slapper. Ah, my arms. Okay, so I won 27-0 with the Simraceway wheel. Let's see what I can do with my regular wheel. Okay, so Fanatec wheel reinstalled again, all set up. Force feedback is well and truly engaged. So let's see how this compares over a lap with the Simraceway wheel down to Paddock Hill. Already the wheel is trying to move around in my hands, unsurprisingly due to the force feedback. Down to Druids. Keep control of it out there. It's the bollards this time, which is good. Save the marshals some work. Just how much quicker is it going to be with the force feedback compared to no force feedback whatsoever, and motion detection rather than the shaft-driven inputs? Best run through there, to be honest, but got away with it. Okay, almost through the lap, down towards the final corner now. What have we done in terms of lap time? Power on nicely. Coming up to the line now. It's going to be 1:26.3. It's only 7/10 quicker than we did with the Simraceway wheel. It's not bad actually, that's pretty impressive. That's not bad at all. Well, the Simraceway wheel was never going to be a serious sim racing piece of hardware. I was never going to say to you, ditch your direct drive wheels. Indirect drive's the future. I was never going to do any of that. It was just a bit of fun just to see just whether it was possible to use an older wheel like that with some interesting technology behind it with the current latest gen simulations, and just see whether it still works or whether it's a viable option. And clearly it is. I mean, if you have the biceps for it, then go for it, because it's going to be quite hard work over a longer stint. But it is still usable. It's still an option if you don't have the space for a rig, or if that's the only thing you have available at the time. But you can still have a lot of fun with it, and that's the main thing. That's the great thing about sim racing. It's all about having fun. Yes, there's a serious competitive side to it, but if you're not having fun, it's not almost worth it. So, but the sim racer wheel, very impressed with that. I like that. Full credit to my dad for using that, because it's not easy. But we hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button below. Also, if you really like our content and you want to see more of it, please hit the subscribe button. It's free to do. We'll be releasing more videos in the coming days as well. But until next time, we shall see you all very, very soon.